Have you ever been scrolling and seen one of those wild AI-generated stories and just thought, how? Well, I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you the exact blueprint for creating your own. And this is a powerful process. We're talking way beyond just making a few random clips here.
I mean, you've seen them, right? Those super captivating crime and horror stories that somehow have characters and locations that look the same from shot to shot, and you've probably wondered, how on earth do they do that without the AI just going completely off the rails?
Because that's the real challenge, isn't it? Getting your main character to look like the exact same person from one scene to the next. That right there, that's the secret sauce. And today, we're unlocking it. So here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the foundation, the story itself, then we'll move on to breaking it into scenes, generating those consistent visuals, fixing the weird stuff AI does, and finally putting it all together into an awesome finished video. And look, this isn't just a one-off tutorial. What we're building here is a repeatable system, a true masterclass that you can use over and over to create stories of any length, whether it's a quick 10-minute short or, hey, even a full series. Okay. First things first, absolutely everything starts with a killer story. If you just ask an AI to write me a story, you're going to get something pretty generic. You know the saying, garbage in, garbage out. To get a great story, you have to give it a great prompt. And just look at the difference a detailed prompt makes. On the left, with a simple prompt, you get a story that's kind of flat. But on the right, when you give it context and detail, you get a story with real depth, with emotion, with suspense. The quality is just night and day. So the key is to use a formula, kind of like this one. You feed the AI the core idea, you tell it the genre, the mood you're going for, target word count so it doesn't ramble, and the narration type. By the way, most of these online stories use third person. Giving the AI these kinds of constraints is how you guide it to create exactly what you're picturing in your head. All right, our story is written, it's awesome. The next step is to break it down into a scene-by-scene production plan. This is how we take the huge task of creating a whole video and make it totally manageable. Now, this is a cool little two-step process using a couple of different AIs. First, a tool like Catalyst AI is great for generating a really detailed list of scenes. The thing is, it often creates way too many. So, we take that big list over to a more powerful model in Google AI Studio to trim the fat, leaving us with a clean, concise production blueprint. Okay, here we go. We are now at the absolute heart of the entire system. This is where we solve that huge consistency problem and finally make our characters and our locations look the same in every single shot. This is the good stuff. And this right here is the core concept, the character master profile. Seriously, think of it as the unique DNA for each of your characters. It's a super detailed text description that covers their face, their hair, their clothes, everything that we're going to reference again and again. The workflow inside an image tool like Vex AI is actually pretty simple once you get it. First, you use your character master profiles to generate each character one time and save them. Step 2, you generate the background for your scene. And finally, you just select your pre-made character, you select the background, and boom, you generate the final image. Consistency is literally built right into the process. But of course, let's be real, AI isn't perfect. Even with a great process, these image generators can cook up some pretty weird results. So let's talk about the two most common flaws and the pro-level fixes for them. Oh yeah, this is a classic. You ask for a shot of a character from behind, but the AI is so trained on faces that it does this creepy, unnatural, exorcist-style head twist to show you one anyway. As you can see, it just looks wrong. The solution, thankfully, is super logical. If you don't want the AI to generate a face, you just have to go into that one specific prompt and remove all the details describing the face, the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Get rid of them. The AI will then generate a true back view exactly like you wanted. And here's the other big one you'll run into. You ask for a close-up, right? But your prompt still has the full head-to-toe description of the character. The AI tries to be helpful and include everything, so it squashes the person down just to fit their shoes in the frame. The result is this really distorted, awkward-looking shot. So the principle here is simple. You have to match your prompt's level of detail to the shot you want. For a close-up, just describe the upper body. For medium shot, describe everything but the shoes. And only for a full shot do you include that complete head-to-toe description. This is how you get precise control over your framing. Okay, deep breath. We have our story, we have our blueprint, and we have our library of perfectly consistent images. Now it is time to put it all together and bring this thing to life. And that brings us to the finish line. You'll take your images and use them to generate short animated clips. Then you add a voiceover. And I highly, highly recommend using your own voice for that essential human touch and emotion. But AI tools are always an option. Finally, you just edit the clips and audio together, pacing them just right to build tension and tell your story. And that's really the main takeaway here. The AI is an incredible tool, for sure, but the real creative power, that comes from having a smart, structured process that lets you direct that tool with real intention. It puts you back in the director's chair. This whole framework really unlocks a brand new way to bring your ideas to life. It gets rid of so many of the technical hurdles and puts the focus back on your creativity. So now that you have the blueprint, the only question left is, what story are you going to tell?